Hello to all my friends and family, and welcome to Jim's 5 a.m. Club. It's another overcast, wet day, and only just this morning I heard the Weather Bureau announce that December 2020 was the wettest month for over 6 years. So much so was the rain, the overcastness, and the drizzle, which just kept on going day in, day out. Anyway, what I want to do today is just take a moment of your time and step you through a book summary. It's a wonderful book summary on time management, and it's a book which is entitled 168 Hours, which is a pretty apt title for a book on time management. And the author is Laura Vanderkam, and she's an author of 6 books. So after reading this book summary, I can't wait to dig into some of her other books, because the material is absolutely fantastic. It's thought-provoking, it's empowering, and it's a call to action for each and every one of us to try and squeeze a little more out of our lives, out of our busy, so-called busy lives. But the author entitled the book 168 Hours. So what's 168 hours, you may ask? 168 hours is the number of hours that we have in each week. So 24 times 7 equals 168. So what the author is trying to do is they're trying to position it to give you an understanding that each week you have an allotted amount of time to be able to do certain things, and within those certain things we need to have some time for sleep, for work, for caring for others, and living our own lives. So we've got 168 hours available to us, regardless of who you are, regardless of how wealthy you are, regardless of how smart you are, regardless of whatever advantage or disadvantage you have. We all have the same amount of time each week. We've got the same allotment of time. So life is all about what you put into that time, or what you get out of that time. So the author has a call to action to each and every one of us. And it's a great lesson. It's a great lesson for all of us. So regardless of what age you are, you can still make more of the time that you have allotted to you. So the author asks us all to consider optimizing our time, because there's plenty of time. There is plenty of time for each and every one of us to do the things we want to do in our lives. So much so that the author says at the end of the day, if you sleep 8 hours a day, you need 56 hours a week. People like myself, I'm happy to get by with 5 hours of sleep. So that means I've got a lot more time on my hands to do the things that I want to do. If you're working, assuming you're working 5 days a week, 8 hours a day, there's another 40 hours of your work week, which is taken up by work. And the author then says that if you take 56 hours for sleep, 40 hours for work, you've got 72 hours left in your week to do the things that you need to do to enjoy your life and to optimize your time, which is over 10 hours a day. So just think about it. After sleep and after work, you've still got 10 hours left in the day to do all the other things that you need to get done in your life. But the author also says that we're not very good at the end of the day in terms of estimating time and estimating hours. And it's just a human frailty that we have, that we're hopeless at allocating time and estimating how much time is required to get things done. And the author also goes on to say that we tend to underestimate the amount of time that we need, or that we use up doing the things that we really enjoy, and overestimate the time that we spend on things that we don't enjoy. So it's a bit of a mental thing as well that we play games with. But the author then says, if you want to make the most of your time, which is the most valuable resource you'll ever have, it's your absolute wealth. Regardless of how much money you have, regardless of how much opportunity you have, at the end of the day, we've got the 168 hours a week to make the most of. So the author says, regardless of who you are, once again, regardless of who you are, regardless of how successful you are, there's a number of things that we all need to do in order to try and optimize the time that we have available to us to be able to wring out of life the greatest opportunities and the greatest value for the time that we have allotted to us. So there are 6 steps or 5 steps that the author talks about. Step number 1 is that we need to journal. We need to journal and log our time. So what she suggests is over a week or 2 weeks, who knows, depending on what you're like at recording. She says what we need to do is to record every single task that we do. If you're sleeping, say that you're sleeping. If you're eating, say that you're eating. If you're going to the toilet, put it down. If you're having a shower, put it down. So whatever you do throughout the week, each individual separate task, you need to log it. So in order to create a baseline, or a starting point, so that we can go back and analyse and see where all our time goes. Because as we said before, we're absolutely hopeless at estimating and figuring out where our time goes. But unless you log it, unless you're very, very diligent in identifying and logging and reviewing where that time goes, you won't really know where the opportunities are to make improvements or where the opportunities are to cut things away. So after you log your time, after you log all the minutes in the day that you spend on eating, drinking, going to the toilet, talking to friends, watching TV, spending time on social media, exercising, looking after yourself, looking after your children, and all of those other things, then what we need to do is we need to make a list of all our dreams. It's called a dreams list. And I've talked about this before in other Jim's 5 a.m. clubs. And I remember years ago, a manager of mine at IBM called Greg Gleason talked about setting up and writing down a dreams list. And he said, just sit down and write down all the things, absolutely everything, regardless of how wild and silly and outrageous it may be. Write down all the things that you'd love to do in your lifetime. Because we generally overestimate what we can achieve in 1 year, but grossly underestimate what we can do in 10 years. So we said, write down all the things you want in terms of material things. The car, the house, the motorbike, the toys, all of those things. And he said, after you write all those down, then write down all the experiences you want to have in your life. And that way you build yourself a complete list of all the things that you want at this stage of your life. And he said, look, over a lifetime, things may change, but generally, most of the things that you want are pretty well set. And most people are very, very similar in terms of their lists. But he says, once you write your list, then the next thing you need to do is to sit down and go through each item on the list and start to prioritise them in terms of what's important at this time of your life. And just go through and just prioritise them and work out which things are more important, which things are less important. And as we said, as you get older, your priorities will change, but at least you need to know, you need to have a baseline from right here and now, what your dreams are and what you want to achieve. The third thing we need to do is we need to identify and understand what our core competencies are. Now, what are we really good at? What are our strengths? What are your strengths? What are the things that you really think and other people tell you that you're much better at naturally than other people? Once again, this is a very, very powerful thing, because by writing down your core competencies, then you'll identify where your strengths are and what the things are that you really enjoy doing and the things that come naturally to you. The fourth thing that the author talks about is the importance of, and it's a call to action, is to look at your list and to look at all the things that you do. Sorry, all the things that you do on your log, and see what you can minimise. You know, what are the things that you're doing which are a waste of time? Is television, sitting and watching television, all that good, all that important? Is time wasted shopping or doing other things? Is it all that important? Is it all that useful? Is it adding value to your life? And then think about all of those things. Think of all that list, and then also say, well, of the things that you want to keep, what can you outsource to other people? What are the things that you can give to other people and get them to do at a price or for free, depending on the sort of social circle you have and the friends you have around you? What are the other things that you can outsource and palm off and delegate to other people? Identify what those are. And then the third thing is, what are the things that you're doing, spending time on, that you can just simply ignore? Just cut them out of your life. Now, is television all that important? Is wasting hours and hours on television going to get you there? Going to coffee and spending time just chit-chatting and passing your time at the cafeteria. Is that something which is going to get you to all your goals and all your dreams? And the last thing of all is once you've done all of those activities, then to understand that you need to learn how to fill the small windows of time that you have with times with bliss, with the things that you enjoy doing, or the things that are powerful and things that are going to help you grow and develop and become a better version of you. So for example, if you've got some downtime, you're on the bus, for example, going to work in the morning or in the afternoon, instead of just sitting there, closing your eyes and trying to get some more sleep, why wouldn't you just try and spend some time and read a book, or listen to a podcast, or write down some dreams, or review your list of things to do for the day? Make it productive. Don't allow it to be a waste of time, because when you get to work, it's going to be too late, because all of a sudden you're going to be inundated with things that other people want you to do. And if you don't have your list of priorities, then you're going to end up getting sucked in to doing everything that everybody else wants you to do. So they're the main points from this wonderful book. And what I'll do is I'll do another 5 a.m. club, because there's a number of things here that we can actually deep dive on, and things that can help us, because time management is so important. And I guess over the years I've met a lot of very, very successful people, very successful executives at a number of organisations that I've worked in, and the thing that set them apart from everybody else is their ability to get things done in the same amount of time that we all had. They had the courage to delegate. They had the courage to outsource things to other people. They had the courage to say no. They had the courage to focus their efforts on the things that were part of their core competencies. They did whatever they had to do, and they focused their efforts on doing things which added value, as opposed to just wasting their time just doing things that a secretary or an accountant or somebody else in the organisation could do. So learn to be brutal with your time, learn to respect your time, and learn to respect the time of the people around you, including your team. But in order to do that, you first need to go through and do a number of things. And let's just recap on those things. The first thing we need to do is to log our time over a couple of weeks to see where our time goes. And you'll be surprised how much time you spend on things which are important and things which are not important. So very important for you to look at that. And then once you've logged all the things that you've done, develop a dreams list of all the things that you really want to do. So you're focusing on getting those things done with the time that you've got available to you. And you always got to be questioning, is what I'm doing right now going to get me closer to any of those dreams and goals that I've got on my dreams list? If it's all about creating dreams and helping other people achieve their dreams, then you may want to reconsider what you're doing and what you're saying yes to. The third thing, of course, is to go through your list and identify the things that you are really good at doing, the things that you can delegate, the things that you can eliminate, and the things that you can absolutely ignore. So they're the key points. So thank you very much for joining me on Jim's 5am Club. As you can see, it's just starting to rain now, so it's a little bit uncomfortable. I'll just get under the tree out of the rain so I don't ruin this iPhone. And let's finish off with a positive affirmation. I'm alive, I am well, and I feel absolutely great. To my friends and family, stay connected, stay relevant, and most importantly, let's become vicious when it comes to our time, our 168 hours a week of allocation, and make sure we make the most of it. Make sure we optimize our time and use our time wisely. And more importantly, let's look at where we're wasting our time. The people who we're wasting our time with. Remembering that the people that you socialize with, the people that we surround ourselves with, are often sometimes some of the biggest time thieves. So make sure that we're all working towards building our dreams, our goals, and making the most of that time, but also understanding that we need to socialise, we need to have time to socialise and have a social circle, because not all time is wasted. But just be careful that you get the balance right, that you're not spending your whole life searching for pleasures, searching for good times, searching for the laughter, because at the end of the day, the big laughter now will end up with tears later on, as my parents used to say. So we need to be able to make sure that we're focusing our attention and our efforts and our action on the things that are going to have the greatest impact. Anyway, take care. I look forward to catching up with you again tomorrow from a different location with a different message. Yassas, Filakya from Jim and Jim's 5am Club, and we'll chat again. Bye for now.